Hello, hello. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium. Welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about how to make the most out of your psychic or mediumship readings. If you are someone who has booked a reading in the past and you're not sure about it, or perhaps you have a reading booked in the future and you want to learn how to make the most of it, how to really get value from your session and integrate the messages that come through for you, this video is for you. Okay, so as a psychic medium, I do a combination of readings. So, and not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic. So, not all psychics can necessarily tune into the spirit realm, be able to communicate with your loved ones, and be able to offer messages and bring forth evidence of your loved one, of the relationship that you had with them during their time on earth. Okay, so not all psychics can do that. That's specifically a mediumship skill. But when I say all mediums are psychic, is to be sensitive enough to be able to communicate with the spirit realm. We are generally also very sensitive to be able to feel into your energy field and tell you, what you're operating at, what's happened in your past, what's likely going to happen in your future based on your current trajectory, based on your current life choices. I'm someone who does a combination. So I can feel into your energy field. I can sense into what happened in your past, your childhood, perhaps even in a past life, where you're at today, where you're holding pain, what's limiting your potential, where you might be stuck, and then also connecting you with your loved ones to bring forward any messages that they may have for you at this time that will essentially facilitate the evolution of your time, of your soul in this current incarnation. The point of a psychic reading or a mediumship reading is, first of all, about gaining clarity, gaining guidance, understanding yourself, understanding your path, and also having the experience of everlasting love. So when you're connecting with your loved ones that have crossed over, you know deep down inside that you're supported, that they're still with you, that you are loved, that you're being divinely guided throughout the course of your everyday choices, even if you don't necessarily feel it. And hopefully the mediumship connection will leave you with a practice to how to engage with your loved ones, on your own, right? So outside of the mediumship session, and any good psychic or medium should be able to connect you to a practice that allows you to tune into your own inner guidance, your own intuition, and your loved ones as well, okay, and your own guides, depending on your practice. So it's very important to get clear on the type of experience you want to have. If you just want a psychic reading, you just want to find out, what's going to happen, or what should I do, or what's the best course of action for me. It's, again, important to get clear on those questions and to come to a reading with an open mind and an open heart. Try not to go to your reading with a sort of test mindset. Let's see what this person has to say. If you're at all skeptical, if you're at all doubtful, and if you don't feel, if you're like, let me see what this is all about, that kind of energy will usually block the connection and prevent you from getting the full value, and also prevent the psychic from being able to fully tune into you, to be able to offer messages that resonate and that really guide you. So it's important to come with an open mind and an open heart. Okay, so that's very, very important. And that's true if you're going for a mediumship reading as well. So you want to come with an open mind and an open heart without any set expectations. Now, obviously, if you're booking a reading, you have an idea of what you want answered. You have an idea of who you want to speak to or who you want to connect with, right? So we already have these intentions in place, and an intention is different than an expectation. So I encourage you to write out your intention for the reading, what you want to create, what you want clarity on, how you want the experience to go, what it is that you want to learn, what advice it is that you're open to receiving. So get very clear on that and keep it open in general. So I'm open to psychic information. I'm open to my loved ones that have crossed over. I'm open to messages from the spirit realm. Whatever's going to serve my highest and best good is what I'm open and willing to receive. Okay, so this type of mindset and this type of energy really allows the psychic and or psychic medium, depending on if you see someone who does a combination of both like I do, it gives us the opportunity to really serve you in the moment and really kind of scan all of universal intelligence to be able to offer the guidance that is most valuable for you at this time. Okay. The other thing I want to mention as well is it's very important to be emotionally grounded. Okay. So grounded in your body. Don't book a reading when you're triggered or upset. Sometimes, I have clients that are like frantic and something's gone wrong in their lives, and they want to book a session because they need that relief. They need the sort of some kind of support in a crisis situation. Of course, it's important to be able to receive empathy when we're in a crisis situation, but the best time to get a reading is not when you're triggered or upset. It's when you're grounded and calm and open to receiving. Okay. And this is very, very important. So if you are in an upset situation, if you're in a triggered situation, if you're operating in a ton of fear, then I would recommend you do some grounding practices, some deep diaphragmatic breathing, some mindfulness techniques to ground yourself in the present moment. Put your hand on your belly, the other hand on your heart. Really breathe into the moment. And I teach these practices all the time. And you watch in all of my videos, I talk about diaphragmatic breathing and how this is a wonderful tool to regulate the nervous system. So ground yourself and then create some very clear intentions. It's really important to write them out. Okay, so make sure that you make a note of what it is that you want clarity on, because even the process of writing out your intentions will help bring in more clarity, more openness to receive information from universal intelligence, which will help your psychic and your medium connect with you. Okay, so regulate yourself, make sure that you are emotionally grounded, open-minded, and willing to connect with someone. So we go to these sessions, wanting to receive whatever serves our highest and best good. We talked about intentions versus expectations. So it's very important, again, create your intentions, but don't have a specific attachment to who you want to talk to, who you want to receive a message from. Oftentimes I ask clients when they book in advance, especially if they book a mediumship reading, if they have somebody near and dear to them that they already know they want to connect to start calling in the energy of that loved one, because by the time I sit with them, I can sort of link in and feel who it is that they want to talk to. Okay. So start thinking about the person that you want to speak to or who you want to message from, and be open. Okay. So an intention is different than an expectation. It means I would really love this experience, and I'm also open to receiving whatever serves my highest and best good. Okay, so a couple of basic energetic hygiene tips before you're going into a reading. Make sure that you avoid alcohol or recreational drugs, at least the day before, so that your energy is clear. Okay, the more clear you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, the more successful the reading will be. The more information will come through, the easier it is for your channel to connect with you, your psychic, your medium, to be able to connect to your energy and bring forward messages. Okay, it's very, very important that you co-create this intention, for yourself, with universal intelligence, with your loved ones, and with your facilitator, with your psychic and medium, whoever that is. Okay. So making sure that you take responsibility for your well-being as you go into these sessions. Okay. Coming in with an open mind and an open heart. It's also important to remember that psychic readings and mediumship readings are not about predictions. Okay. Oftentimes we want to know what's going to happen, right? This is what drives the human suffering. What should I do? What's going to happen to me? Am I going to be okay? Is this the right choice? Is this the wrong choice? Of course, I hear these questions all the time. Okay. It's important that you understand from a spiritual perspective that there is no wrong choice. There is no wrong choice in universal intelligence. There's only choices that serve these type of lessons and choices that will serve up these other type of lessons. Some of them will be more painful than others, but you will always learn no matter what you choose. Okay. And usually we choose the lesson that's most valuable for the learning or the lesson or the evolution of our soul, the awakening into love, the awakening into truth. Okay. So if I choose a set of circumstances that will potentially turn out bad from a, human judgment perspective, I will learn from that situation. Hopefully, I will learn how to choose wisely, how to raise my standards, how to identify what's true for me, how to love myself and honor myself more. Okay, so there's really no wrong choice. It's just a matter of how do I navigate the path that's most empowered, that's most in alignment with my truth, with what I deeply desire. So if you're booking a session with a psychic or a medium, these are beautiful questions to ask. This is how I want you to contextualize your question. Rather than going in and saying, hey, what's going to happen to XYZ, or in this particular situation, go in and say, what can I do to co-create my desired outcome? Is it in my highest and best good to choose this path? Does this serve my soul's evolutionary journey? Am I going to feel good about this? What can I choose that's going to bring me more peace, right? There's no such thing as where you're meant to be or what you're meant to do. Okay. This is very wrong thinking. There's no predetermined fate. You get to be in choice. You are always in choice. We get to choose the reality that we're living and how we want to live it and how we want to express ourselves. There's the only choices really that we have are what feels good to me and what doesn't feel good to me. Right. And so I want you to use that as your metrics, especially if you're someone who has a spiritual practice, if you're taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and you're just kind of wanting that higher guidance. You want it, you're asking yourself that the deeper questions about, your purpose and how to feel fulfilled and how to have more peace. It's really a matter of tuning in and saying, okay, what brings me the most joy? Right? What serves my highest and best good? What is going to benefit me and, possibly my family? Okay. So it's an important way to contextualize your questions so that you're not going in with a very myopic, limited view of what's possible for your life. Okay. Because keeping in mind that if you have an attachment to a certain outcome, you may not get the message that you want. You may not get what you want to hear, right? Sometimes that's painful. But if you go in with an open mindset and an open heart, with this implicit understanding that we live in a benevolent universe that wants what you want, it wants to give you what's going to serve you. It wants to give you whatever is going to bring you the most joy. It wants to offer you the path to your greatest evolution, to the fulfillment of your potential. Then we accept that sometimes the information that's coming through, although it may not be what we want to hear, it's going to be good for us, right? It's going to be exactly what we need. So these are good ways to prepare for a psychic reading and a mediumship reading. Just being open, being clear about, what you want to ask, being emotionally grounded, not having any attachments to the outcome, and understanding that you play a role in the, manifestation of your destiny. You're creating it. There's a saying that goes, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's because you are in choice. As I mentioned earlier, you have the capacity to shift your circumstances based on your choices, based on your language, based on your beliefs, based on your actions. And obviously your entire energy system can manifest new circumstances. So once you step into alignment with what you deeply desire, you will have the outcomes that will reflect what you deeply desire, because you're practicing that energy. Okay. There are outside forces that we have no control over, and someone like me or a psychic or another medium or guide can connect you to those forces so that you have more insight, more information. We're here to give you something that you can use so that you can integrate this information and implement it in your life. Oh, I hadn't thought of that, or I hadn't, considered this other aspect. That's the role of a psychic. The role of a psychic medium is to connect you to information that is not available to you, that is unseen to you, that you feel blocked from or disconnected from because you don't have these sensitivities developed. Every single one of us can develop ourselves as psychic and channels and mediums to connect with our loved ones that have crossed over. We can all develop these sensitivities. So it's not a matter of a psychic medium connecting you to something that you don't have access to. Our role is to connect you to something within you that you do have access to, and you should be able to walk away from the session feeling empowered, feeling like you can rely on your own intuition a little bit more, feeling validated in your own intuitive guidance, and having a clear idea of what to do, some of the actions that you can take to maintain the energy that is going to create positive outcomes in your life. Okay. And this is so important. Oftentimes I have people come for readings and they're very stressed and very contracted and very afraid about, a certain situation. And, I will give them perhaps a piece of good news or some positive reassurance about, outcomes that I'm sensing, and they'll feel good in the moment. And then they'll go right back into their lives and feel contracted and afraid and stressed and worried. Your energy is affecting the outcome. So use your readings to raise your vibration. Allow the psychic medium to bring in information that's going to help you heal, that's going to help you open up your gifts, your own gifts, that's going to help you open up the realm of infinite possibilities, give you access to the realm of infinite possibilities. It's going to boost your self-confidence and boost your positive outlook on what's happening in your life. And then use that energy to continuously create this positive momentum. So you want to stay in the frequency that we're able to raise in you in the session. Okay. You should never walk away from a session feeling scared or feeling like, you've got something stressful or worried about that you have no control over, or like something bad's going to happen. There's no such thing as curses that need to be removed from you, or negative entities, or all of that stuff. This is not true. Okay. So be careful if you're sitting with a psychic medium that says, oh, I see pending doom, or, there's, you need to pay extra money for me to do this work on you. This is manipulation. And it's unfortunate that it happens in our industry, but please be aware that this type of thing is out there and it's not the truth. If you are rooted in love and you are rooted in truth, and you have a spiritual practice that allows you to connect to these values, that allows you to connect to the benevolence in the universe, there's nothing to protect yourself from. Okay. And there's nothing bad that can happen to you. It's really about choosing the reality you want to live in. And if you're choosing positivity and you're choosing kindness and you're showing up in integrity and you're choosing love in your life, then there's really nothing to fear, right? That's just a matter of, how can I use my skills to make this happen? Or, where should I put my attention, or where should I put my energy, or how can I receive the messages that I need to receive in order to heal from grief, or to, move into a place of forgiveness so I can have more peace. Okay. The outcome of a psychic reading or a mediumship reading, or a combination of thereof, should be that you have more peace as a result of it. I got the resolution that I was looking for. I got the guidance that I needed. I know exactly what to do. Or I got the tools to help me maintain my energy so I can create positive momentum in my life. I got the reassurance that I was looking for. I can feel supported by universal intelligence. I know now that I'm not alone, that I have guides that are around me, that are connecting with me, that want to bring messages forward to me on a daily basis. It's just a matter of developing my sensitivity so that I can tune in. Okay. So these are things to look out for. And these are things to really practice so that you can make the most of your readings. Okay. You want to be able to walk away and give yourself time to integrate. Try not to book too many readings back to back. Okay. Especially if you're in a stressful situation and, you want the answers, and, you're relying on what the psychic is saying or what the medium is saying. And then you want to go back for more answers. Like there's a few developments. You say, oh, I'm going to book another reading and see what else she says. Like, it's very important that we don't give our power away. Okay, so create a space between your readings so you have time to integrate, to have time to implement what you learned, using the information to guide yourself, to develop yourself. And then, 3 to 6 months down the road, if you want another reading, if you need to book another session because there's been so many developments or there's been so many changes, then that's appropriate. Okay, and a guide, a psychic or a medium with integrity will advise you to do so. Okay, it's really important not to book back-to-back readings, especially if you have a lot of questions. Okay, mediumship readings can be a little bit different because you can have different loved ones show up during your readings, and of course, the medium will tell you, what their preferred time delay between readings is based on their practice. Okay, so I have people come every month to the same mediumship circle, and we have new loved ones come forward all the time. A psychic reading is a little bit different. If you want your questions answered, it's best to wait for things to develop in your life before you come back and ask more questions about the same subject. Okay. So that's an important distinction. The main reasons I became a psychic medium is because I felt very sensitive to energy my whole life. And I felt very drawn to, the esoteric arts and mysticism, which to me sort of points to a past life experience. And that could be true for you too, if you're drawn to psychic work and mediumship work as well. And I really loved the experience of connecting with the magic, of connecting with the unseen, connecting outside of this 3D reality. And so it's very important, if you're someone who's considering booking a reading, or you've been to readings, you've had readings before, that you understand that there's so much more to our human experience than what we see, feel, taste, touch in this 3D reality. There is an entire universe of information that we have access to, which to me personally was very exciting, to be able to tap into knowledge and use this knowledge to inform my human experience and help me fulfill my potential, and also help me find peace in this life. Okay, so this is all that's available to us in this work. Okay, so I want to create a much broader context around readings than just getting yes or no questions answered, or finding out what's going to happen next, or what you should do. It's really about connecting to your own spirit team and your own experience with universal intelligence, so that you can start to receive information and you can integrate this information to develop yourself. Okay. And so I hope this was helpful. If you've stuck with me till the end, thank you for sharing this space with me. It's always an honor to channel these messages for you. If you're considering booking a reading, I would love to serve you. There's a link here at the bottom of this video on how to book a reading with me. You can book an intuitive life guidance reading, which is just a psychic reading, or you can book a mediumship reading as well. And there's also the opportunity to book a past life regression, which is a 2-session experience with me as well. And we can always do a combination of all of these things. As I mentioned at the beginning, channeling is channeling. And so I am one of those psychic mediums that does both. So I hope you enjoyed this content. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I will see you Sunday night for Oracle Hour at 5 p.m.